Hello, my loves, and I know I'm so naughty. I haven't spoken to you for a long time, but it's summer, it's hot in Tokyo, kind of too hot, and I just wanted to come back with a little taster of a day out that we had in Zushi. Now, the funny thing about Zushi is part of Shinjuku, which is part of the main fun bit of Tokyo. So it is the beach, but it's a beach that's really accessible to get to on the JR line train. Maybe 45 minutes and you're right on the beachfront with lovely water, lovely views. So it's somewhere that not everyone knows about. So this is a little secret tip for you guys, that if you ever go to Tokyo, you might feel like you're in the big city, but just 45 minutes away by train, or even less or more, you can literally go for a walk on the beach. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's a little secret for you guys to know, for anyone who's been to Japan but might not have thought about going to the beach. So we decided, because the sun was shining, it was a beautiful day, that yeah, let's go to the beach, why not? And I actually got these cute little head caps for the boys, because I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna have to untangle that beautiful mass of hair, and they wouldn't put their head caps on. So cute, a lot of brushing out and a lot of sand when we got home, but they had an amazing time. Now, as you see on that poster, it says no tattoos. Now, the funny thing about that is a lot of people decide to get tattoos to try and feel closer to Japanese culture. I have no opinion on that. I'm not going to say it's a good thing or a bad thing. That's not for me to say. I myself don't have any tattoos, but I don't look down on anyone who does. But the funny thing is, tattoos are really looked down, if I'm honest, in Japan. And so you'll find that if you go to an onsen or a sauna, they might actually tell you to get out if you have a tattoo. And if you go to a beach, they might ask you to cover it. Now, when we got to the beach, it had a sign that said no tattoos. However, when we were sitting in the beach hut that we were sitting in, there are lots of people that have tattoos. So if you're familiar with Japanese subculture, that might have a meaning. I'm not going to say that they had any affiliations. That's not fair for me to go there and say that. But in general, no one was kicking them off the beach. So I'm not going to say people were scared of them, but I don't think they were just any and anyone. So if I were you and you wanted to come to the beach in Japan, I would recommend wearing a rash guard. And a rash guard is basically a top that has long sleeves, our bottoms that are long, so that your tattoo doesn't show, because there's a saying that my mum likes to say a lot: cats and dogs don't have the same luck. So a Japanese person might be able to get away with having a tattoo, but if you come as a foreigner, they might stop you and say you have to cover it up or put a plaster or a band-aid on it, which has always made me laugh, because I think that's more unhygienic. Not that tattoos are unhygienic, but you know what I mean. That feels unhygienic to have a band-aid or a plaster, and I find that more offensive. But anyway, so just be aware of that. What some of my friends have done, come to Japan with fresh tattoos to try and impress the locals, you know, with their tattoos written in kanji, you know, the beautiful scroll words of Japanese words, and they find it's more of a hindrance. And you'll find this everywhere. Lots of places say no tattoos, no entry. So just be aware of that if you come. The good thing about the beach, what I really liked, was normally when you wear clothes in Japan, contrary to popular belief, they're very, very conservative. And actually, I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, you show a lot of clavicle." And I was like, what? And the clavicle is, you know, like the bone that goes along the neck, you know, on the neckline. And I would wear tops, because the thing is, in Japan, it's actually quite taboo to have what we call in London your back showing, your lady bits, you know, to have your boudoirs showing. So I've become quite self-conscious of showing that. And because people be like, oh my goodness, you have to remember that, you know, I'm a married lady, and in Japan that takes on a different connotation. So if I was footloose and fancy free, and I have a black Jamaican body, you know, I'm a black Brit, Jamaican heritage, so I'm not gonna lie, I've got a nice shape to me, and anything I put on always seems to be quite offensive. You know, it seems to be quite like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing, even though I'm not doing anything. But if I put on the dress, I've been blessed to have curves in the right places, thank goodness. But it means anything I put on looks scandalous, whereas my friends might put on a camisole and it looks just so elegant, darling. And I might put on a camisole and you just see my boudoirs. So I found it quite hard to dress in Japan because I have to be quite aware of that. However, on the beach, well, on the beach you can wear whatever you like, and I noticed the girls really, you know, they really wear really nice bikinis. A lot of them have really nice bodies in terms of the fact that you tend to notice people's bodies more when you're kind of deprived because, you know, you're so used to seeing people in greys and creams and very conservative colours. This idea that people in Japan are just out there and they're wearing wild and wacky and fun clothes is really, that's more a Harajuku thing. It's less a day-to-day thing, and so people are normally in quite I would say maybe 10 years older than they are tones. You know, they look very formal most of the time, even when they're dressed down. So when you see people on the beach, it's so refreshing and different because they just look so fun. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult to describe because, contrary to popular belief, Japan is very, very, very formal. And again, unless you go to Harajuku or Shibuya or you're into Garu culture or anything like that, it just tends to be very, very formal, as though you were meeting a mother-in-law every single day. So to see people on the beach is it's just quite nice to see a bit of skin, if I'm honest. It's quite nice to see some legs, some boudoirs, you know. You know, it's just nice to see. And I think it's hard for body positivity because everyone is super, super small. I never knew about things such as 45 kg, which is, I don't know, what, 7 stone in UK? I don't know how much that is in pounds. I never knew those sizes even existed. So it might be quite jarring for a foreigner because everyone is teeny tiny. And I'm not a big girl myself, I'm just normal, I'm a size 8 in the UK, but it's just different, it's different. So I would say to anyone who's a bit nervous about their body, 1, either rock it with confidence, or 2, be prepared, because if I'm honest, it might be quite uncomfortable because everyone is just built like a Kate Moss for the most part. But what I would say again is life's too short to hide yourself away, so don't ever feel like you have to, but just be aware of that. And I'm just saying that with all honesty. Another thing that I liked about the beach culture is that it was just good vibes, man. You hear some good music, some good food. Yeah, good vibes, good vibes. I like the beach hut layout. And finally, we had to go home. It started to get dark. I met one of my friends from Liverpool that was out there, and we had a really good time. On the way home, we saw the trains coupling together, which the boys loved because they're really into trains. And I spent most of my time when we got home detangling, conditioning, and doing all that good stuff, since they had a hair full of sand, but they had the most amazing day. So I definitely recommend going to Zushi if you're able to, or going to Kamakura, which is another part of the beach, and yeah, just having a great time. And I hope you had a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.